In this way, human mind becomes the center. Human mind. Human mind is so important. And actually, later Zen Buddhists said that mind is Buddha. If you try to find the Buddha outside of your mind, it will be like trying to cook rice out of sand. You'll never find a Buddha outside of your mind. See? So ultimately, and the first patriarch of Chinese Zen Buddhism, who was 28th patriarch from Indian tradition, 28th patriarch after Mahakashyapa comes to China, and then he starts the Chinese tradition, Zen tradition himself. He left this 4-line. Line is this. Outside of the tradition meaning the scriptural tradition. Scripture, Avatamsaka, Pundarika, Satarma Pundarika, all those scriptures. Outside of these scriptures, okay, there's a transmission of the Dharma outside of the scriptures. Second line says, without depending on words and letters, meaning do not read any scriptures. If you read the scriptures, you will never get it. Third line says, pointing directly human mind. Again, human mind. Directly pointing human mind. And the last line, fourth line, seeing the nature, the self-nature, nature and becoming a Buddha. This is the 4-line. Pay attention to seeing the nature. What do you mean nature? Which is again from Sanskrit was svabhava. And throughout the whole history of Buddhism, this word of svabhava was the troublesome one, depending on which Buddhist philosopher. One says, like Nagarjuna, emptiness, shunyata, emptiness. However, at the time, Nagarjuna meant by shunyata, dependent origination, meaning the things in the world are in flux. And so nothing has its own inherent existence or essence. Everything is dependent on something else. Everything. That's was the meaning of emptiness, okay? The shunyata. Now, when we come to WonBuddhism, we talk about seeing the nature, seeing self-nature. And Chinul, the 13th century, the Korea dynasty Zen master Chinul, in his secret on cultivating the mind, he also talks about seeing the nature, which is coming from Huineng, the 6th patriarch, So there's the big issue, and the 20th century Korean Choge patriarch Sungcheol condemned Chinul's method of seeing the nature, saying it is not genuine enlightenment and so on. So the question remains, in WonBuddhism we have Chinul's, Zen master Chinul's secret on cultivating the mind, the Sushimgyal, which was condemned by the Sungcheol. However, in WonBuddhism, we and the masters meant to somehow direct all the people to the essence of Buddha's enlightenment. To do that, we have enshrined the circle as the symbol of the Buddha's enlightened mind, and then explain in the truth of Irunsan. And what is it? It says, this circle, Iruan, is the essence of, or the fundamental nature of all things in the universe. But the question was, what is it? Is it the mind or is it emptiness? That is not explained in the truth of Irunsan. And we needed some construction of the WonBuddhist doctrine, depending on, And it said it's the original nature of all the Buddhas and the patriarchs, and it is also the Buddha nature of all sentient beings. It says that. Very important declaration. This circle refers to the essential nature of all things in the universe, and also it is the Buddha nature of all sentient beings, and also original nature of all the Buddhas and patriarchs. So if you want to attain enlightenment, you have to be enlightened through this nature, Buddha nature. And then I'm not going to get into in detail of the truth of Ironsang, but what is important is that the circle, originally the Grandmaster Sotaesan started by saying mind Buddha Ironsang, mind Buddha, symbol mind Buddha Ironsang, And he explained what this mind Buddha is in the Ironsang vow or vow to Ironsang, he explains. Then, since we are talking about the first of the four pillars or fundamental principles of WonBuddhism, correct enlightenment and right practice, that is again emphasized and repeated in the practice of Ironsang. The section 3 of the chapter 1, Ironsang in our scriptures. Now, originally it is written this way. Believing in the truth of Ironsang is a necessary condition for the enlightenment. So believing, and if you don't believe in the truth of Ironsang, you go nowhere. So important, by believing the truth of Ironsang as the guide. It's a guide. And if you don't believe, you don't have the guide to the enlightenment. Believing the truth as the model of a practice or standard of practice, not the circle itself. So believing in the truth of Ironsang as the model of a practice. You go on in practice, but what is the method? First requirement is being enlightened to the truth of Irwan, he says. If you are not enlightened to the truth of Irwan, all your practice will be corrupt, which is said in the secret on the cultivating the mind and by Chinul, Sushimgyal. All the practice before the enlightenment, seeing the nature, self-nature is corrupt, like trying to wash dirty hands in the dirty water. And you know why? If you're not enlightened to your original nature, then since you don't have the power to remove all the defilements, passions, and so on, you can never get out of it. But if you are enlightened, there's a light shining from the enlightened mind, so that you know what is right, what is wrong, what is beneficial, what is harmful, and so on. And you know what causes pain for oneself and for others, and so on. You will know that. So, it is written by Chung, section 3, section 1, 2, 3 of the Truth of Ironsang is written by Master Chung. So, in a very short, just one sentence, the heart of the whole Mahayana Buddhist practice is condensed. How? Okay, Ironsang, symbol of the Buddha's enlightened mind. You have start with the faith in the truth of Ironsang. If you don't have the faith, belief, you go nowhere.